Hi everyone. I hope you have been well since the last time we had this episode. Um, yeah, welcome back. And for anyone who's new here, hi, welcome. Um, this is Blackboard, um, a platform, a community where we foster people perfecting their craft. So we bring in people who have sort of like found their passion or found their calling in the tech space, and they're doing amazing things with um, with their with their craft, and they can share things here and there, their lessons, and any words of wisdom um, about their journey. Uh, yeah. So also we are at 650 subscribers, I believe, on YouTube. So you can follow us, or rather subscribe there and follow us on LinkedIn. Um, yeah, and be part of our very nice, small, still small, intimate community. Yeah, so I will just go ahead and start the session. Today we have an amazing guest for our second episode on DevStories. He is Levi Zwannah, as you've probably seen on the poster. And he is the CEO and founder of Carata, which he will talk about some more into the session. So I don't think I'll take a lot of time to give an introduction, since you will still do it, Levi. So I will just go ahead and welcome you to the session, and thank you in advance for gracing us with your presence. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a great conversation and learning a lot from you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My audio is quite clear, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it's okay.
All right. All right.
Yeah. So
So
I
thank you
think
for.
can go ahead with your introduction. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Yeah,
I'm trying to ensure I don't have a lot of noise in my background, like my microphone. Is it okay now?
I think it's okay right now. Yeah.
Great. So thank you again for having me on Blackboard. So I am Levi Zwannah, and I'm the founder and CEO of Carata. And what Carata does is we are a platform that support e-commerce for developing and developed countries. Now, the reason why we are very, very keen on the developing side is because you notice that there are a lot of very small retail businesses, from the vendors that sell by the road, up to very well established e-commerce players. Carata supports all of them. And it has been 3 years in the making to come up with a model that actually supports these two kind of these two kinds of inventory structure. And we have uh, paired that with users and also a delivery platform, like multiple delivery platforms or delivery companies. So we are calling it the operating system for e-commerce in Africa and in most developing countries. And we connect users with businesses through delivery companies. And that's basically what we do. That's what we do. Uh,
Um, so
yeah, that
yeah,
was just
interesting. I actually wanted you to give an introduction of yourself, but I guess yeah, you technically talk about your child first, which is I think is just natural for any
I know,
CEO.
right?
It's fine. It's okay. So yeah, just Karata aside just for a bit, who's Levi, and then we'll get back to Karata.
No problem. When I say I'm the founder and CEO of Carata, I'm like, okay, what is this Carata thing? That's the natural question that follows in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm a Liberian, and I did informatics and computer science in Strathmore. I'm quite interested in things being done from first principles. They usually say do not reinvent the wheel, but that kind of doesn't sit quite well with me, because each time you try to reinvent the wheel, you get to face problems from first principles, and the way you solve them, that particular is the technique of solving them that you tend to use later on for composite problems. Because you see, there are problems that arise because many first principle problems came together. And the only way you solve them is if you know how to solve the first principles problems. And so during my time as a student, I really delved into the theories of computer science. Like, I kind of like those things from the ground up. And now I do play drums. I play drums, I play keyboard, and I'm trying to learn how to sing. Seems like I fell out a bit. Can you hear me?
Um, Not clearly. I think you just came back. Um, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
I think you're back.
Okay, great. So that's me as a person. I really like thinking, but I am biased to action. I like thinking a lot, but I'm biased to action, like getting things done. But I don't like try and error. So try and error waste resources a lot. Except you can reverse what you're doing. But when it comes to engineering, you do try and error. You can expend, I don't know, 5, 10 hours on something that you could spend 30 minutes on if you just sat down and think about doing try and error. So yeah, that's me. That's me.
Okay, okay. You're such an interesting soul and all-rounded. Actually, I never knew you played any instruments. Should probably
Oh
talk to
wow.
Nanda so that he can add you to a band he's directing.
Yeah, I do play
Yeah.
instrument.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So yeah, back to Karata.
Mm.
You did mention that you describe it as an open operating system for e-commerce.
Yeah.
Could you expound a bit more on you mean, or what exactly that term encompasses, e-commerce operating system.
All right, that's great. Thank you. So we are not doing e-commerce, okay? But we are providing the tools um, for a business. You have every single e-commerce tool in your arsenal that can, help you survive or thrive, from communications to your inventory management to, your analytics. Everything is over there. On the side of the customer, you also have, all the functions that relates to you ordering. But the thing is, you can order anything. Like, that is the additional thing we added for the user. So there is literally no limit. You can order from a single pen to a fridge if you want. Uh, and for the fair delivery price. So that's where the catch is. You can order a pen for 10 shillings or 15 shillings, and then you pay 250 shillings for them to bring it when the shop is just outside there. So our system considers that the shop is right outside, and we are able to find where the shop is, and get the pen from there. And that's why I told you we make the benefits of e-commerce available to those vendors that sell by the road. Those ones can't manage their own e-commerce platform, but we have indirectly given them the benefit of e-commerce. And then finally, for delivery companies, we give you the infrastructure. So all you have to do, focus on your fleet and operation, like the people you are dealing with, the people that are delivering. We will do the assignment. We are currently, this I'm telling you, is not actually in production. What's in production is Carata 2.0, and it's like a streamlined version of this. It is where we did our testing, where we actually perfected the technology, and we call it edge delivery technology and the infinite inventory model. So now we are making it available as like a SaaS, so software as a service. And for delivery companies, you get this infrastructure. You don't have to manage your own infrastructure. We realize that you have so many delivery companies and they have different websites. So a client or the business kind of have to manage their own deliveries. You have to find the delivery company you want to use. And for delivery companies that don't have proper SEOs, well, you might not even get seen when someone Google delivery companies in Nairobi or wherever we are talking about. So we are giving them a platform where they have the tech infrastructure given to them, and all they have to do is to focus on operations. And in that case, when the customer orders, Carata handles the end-to-end process from getting it, at the business, assigning the deliverer, and ensuring that the item is delivered, and also managing the refund process and all of that. And basically that's it. We ensure everyone focuses on what they do best. A delivery company focus on giving the customers the best experience when it comes to delivery. You don't have to worry about, oh, I need to close deals with clients and all of that, or businesses. A business, you focus on your inventory, package your product, your customer service, but don't worry about who is coming to pick it up or deliver it. And for customers, you don't worry about getting a delivery. There are some delivery companies, you call them, you tell them, go to this shop and pick my thing. Don't do that. Just place an order. If you want to order a pen and the pen is not on the app, you can actually add it and order it. That's what you do. And just relax. The system will assign a deliverer who will go buy that pen and deliver it to you. So it's like we have literally supported e-commerce from the beginning to the end and back, but without actually doing the e-commerce. So we have provided the infrastructure, and that's why we are calling it the operating system for e-commerce. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I think it's very interesting that you've decided. I mean, as a product, you're focusing on each person within their own environment, and that's all they have to worry about. Every other thing that they're leveraging is your thing. You do that thing, and then the other person doesn't have to think of what platform to use to like reach clientele or add customers or gain customers. I mean, that's you doing all that connection. I think it's really interesting. Yeah, it's almost like it's actually yeah. No, I mean I understand why it would be an operating system because I can see all that abstraction going on.
Yeah.
You're literally hiding all the complexities and making
Yeah.
it easy for the users. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so I think knowing that, I would be curious to know like how you have designed the platform's architecture to be able to enable all those diverse functionalities.
Yeah. Well, uh, I was in second year, and I think we started together when I started Carata. That at that time, the problem was I wanted to buy something outside the shop, but then I was coding another project, you know. And then I was like, what if someone could just buy this thing and bring it to me? And that was the idea. So my first thought was, I think the reason why people cannot order these small things is because the current e-commerce there's a coupling between product and shop. So I got that thing in Carata like zero. I would call it Carata zero. Um, and well, that didn't really work well because that was not the full solution. What was interesting is that I wrote the code, and you know how when you are a new engineer and you have managed to make something that work and it's in production. I was like, who am I? Who am I? I was proud of myself. Only to realize that when you are adding features, as all right, it's a long story, but learning from character to character, from the prototype stage up to now, there has been a lot of growth in my engineering and my co-founders, and we have some interns. So what we have done is we we are following domain-driven design. So we are using domain-driven design for us to design these components. Mainly, there's a separation between the business side of things and the delivery companies. These kind of look like um, two different, let's say, section of the system, but then they all have their own terms, and different delivery companies have different way to measure like the product or calculate their delivery fee and all of that. And so we don't want to do microservices because that would be a little bit of a strain on our own infrastructure management. Like the DevOps side would be a little bit complicated, and you don't want people to go for vacation and then they are not really on vacation. Because that's what tends to happen with this microservices thing. You go for vacation, but you are not really there. And so we want to do modular monolith. Actually, that's how we are designing it, is modular monolith. And so later on, if we need to split it up into microservices, we will do that. But the main approach is DDD. Yeah, that's how we are able to support all these different features, and in the future enable different teams to work on different part of the system without standing in each other way and complaining, that you have a blocking task, and I can't move forward. Yeah, so that's basically how we've approached it. That's how we've done the architecture. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Uh, Back to like a bit like a bit non-technical side of things. I'd want to know
Mhm.
like what challenges, because you've said like the product has really evolved from Karata zero onwards. Um, so yeah, I'd like to know like what interesting challenges you have faced while building this product from yeah, like through the index based versions onwards, like what interesting challenges have you encountered? um was there like a lesson you learned while facing these challenges that helped you overcome them?
All right. Yeah, that's a really great uh, question to kind of make me reflect from character zero. Uh, I think one of the main challenges I had at the time was this is a computer science guy, and he has to get his product out there for people to start using it. And I mean, that actually helped me to put my foot on the water of entrepreneurship. Because as an engineer, you stay behind the PC, you've written the code, the app works well on your phone, but that is not the end. And it's not really easy to get people to use your product. I think that was one of the greatest challenges that I faced, um, convincing people to use the product. And one thing I learned is you can learn to do anything, you know. Some of them won't release dopamine, like if I have to do accounting, uh, which tends to, it actually dries up my dopamine, you know. Like, but the fact that I could learn to do marketing, I could learn to sell, and still be great at what I really do best, engineering. I could learn to make strategies. That actually helped me to overcome that challenge of getting the product to market. And we released Carata 2.0 this January. We only in Madaraka. We've not come all around Nairobi. And yeah, we've seen growth, and our marketing efforts are working. I can't believe that these days I am looking at Canva and I'm complaining on visual hierarchy, and I'm trying to direct users' attention on what I want them to see first. You know, people don't know just code and hope that people will use it. Uh, but I remember something. There was this time my co-founder, he told me, uh, Levi, this employee, you know, the deliverer end of the app. He said this thing doesn't look quite easy to use. I was like, they are the employees. They just have to learn to use it. You know, like it's a single tool that they will have to use. Then he said, no problem. So I spent time on the user side, and then guess who was the first deliverer? It is me. I remember coming back. I sat down for like a week. I redid the whole the deliverer backend, and that taught me something that you know people are the ones giving the value. Uh, they are the ones producing the value. The quality of these people work will definitely affect the kind of value of character. And it taught me to value every single end of this chain, from the business side to the deliverer, the delivery company side, and the user side. So these days, I'm not just looking at it. It has come to the point where we consider admins. It's like, okay, if you're an admin, how fast can I get you to? Can I help you do your work? You know, before then it would be like you're an admin, so you just learn to use the app. But you know, after having that experience and bringing people on board, it has taught me that the value actually comes from the people, except you have an AI startup. But I mean, the value comes from the people. You treat the people well, like the way you treat the employees will definitely reflect on the value they give the customer. And so that has been another interesting finding for me. And it was also a challenge in the beginning, because for us to onboard or deliver, it's like 3 days. This guy will, you teach him, and then he'll go out and make mistakes still. All because the way I designed it, I didn't really care for the deliverer at the time. And so, yeah, those are some of my challenges. The rest, they were all technical, and you read to figure them out. And currently, the ones that I'm on is fundraising. You know, we have to raise fund for Carata 3.0. And that's the next hill that I have to climb. Yeah.
Actually, along the lines of marketing, someone asked a question. Yeah, for you to tell them a bit about how you've marketed Karata so far. I mean, what has worked for you?
All right. All right. So now that is kind of very interesting. What we did was, okay, let me tell you, by the way, now that you asked this question, I learned that it's easier to get customer and it's very hard to get them back. So if the customer comes and then you don't serve them well and they go, oh, you need to go on the mountain and pray for 40 days before they come back. That is very expensive to get them back. So in the beginning, we wanted to like scale up really fast. And by that time, we had cut off the chain between product and inventory. So we were kind of asset heavy, where we had to actually add the product, manage the prices ourselves. That was just too much work, and so people won't find the products they are looking for. Because if you just visit a single convenience store or kibanda, this guy has like 100 items. He himself doesn't even know the products he has. You'll be like, do you have this? And he's like, wait. Then he starts checking. Oh yeah, there it is. You see. So now people used to come to we told them you can order anything. But then when you search, you couldn't find anything. And so we saw a massive customer churn rate. And so what we did, because initially we used to go to Stramo, we noticed that most of our customers were Strap students and they were in Kwetu and those places. And so we will go from class to class and talk about the thing, and we will have huge signups. Then we will have people attempt to use the app, and then we have a huge churn rate. Then when you talk to the people, they are like, "Oh, I didn't find what I was looking for." But as soon as you added our account, I'm like, "How would you know I've added it if you are not checking out the app?" And before then, we didn't used to collect people information. It's like we did not want you to spend time entering your name, this and that, and we were too lazy to do sign up with Google. So it was just when you place an order, we cached it, we use a cookie to keep your details so you can re-enter it. But every time we were re-entering the data. So that's basically how we started, like physical marketing, talking to the students in Strive, and we will go for flea markets. We did WhatsApp marketing, and then we realized that operations itself, first of all, the products were not there, but then our deliverers were few. So a certain number of orders, the deliverer performance will start, that there will be diminishing return. And that was creating an operation backdoor, as I would like to call it. It was a backdoor that we didn't see. Customers would come and operations would open the backdoor for them to go. And it was very hard to get them back. So what we decided to do was to constrain marketing. We didn't do any, like, it was like, I would prefer to not have 1,000 customers and only be left with 200, and that 800, I will have to go pray to get them back, as opposed to getting only 200 that are, you have like 90% of them being active. And so that was the focus. So we really slowed down marketing and we only did physical marketing. We prioritized physical marketing until we released 2.0. And then for 2.0, we went back again to Stravmo class to class. And this time around, we were promoting word of mouth. We wanted the word of mouth stuff. And so far, that has been our greatest investment into getting people to recommend their friends. From we have this internal wallet called Kappa, where we will give you points for referring someone else, and not just that, but just talking about the product in general. And so we were really strategic with entering groups. We would enter the group and be like, "Have you heard about Carata?" Or we will actually tell someone to ask a question like, "Is Carata legit?" That creates curiosity, and people, when they are curious, they won't be satisfied until they answer the question. So we try to leverage a lot on curiosity. The name as well. When you hear Carata, it does not make any kind of sense until you actually find it, except you want to take the one for Kiswahili. And so, yeah, we've done mainly social media marketing, but not getting to Instagram or Facebook, because again, we don't want to get outside of our boundaries right now. Operations will become a backdoor. And so we constrained it to WhatsApp and SMSs and posters around in Madaraka. Yeah, that's basically how we have done our initial marketing. And by like now we have 600 signed up users, I think, and that outperform. We had worked with Carata one for 20 from 2021 to 2023, yeah, where we're just iterating and trying out new concepts and even most of our hypotheses, and yeah, the the total number of customers we had like 250 over those 2 years. And after we had, but the good thing is all of our hypotheses we ran them in Carata 1.0. Like there was this hypothesis that we realized that people have a different mindset when they go to supermarkets versus when they go to a convenience store. So like we try to introduce that psychology into the app, that technically when you are buying from a convenience store, you don't expect the price to be fixed. And definitely people have responded quite well to that. And we got that from Carata 1.0. So it was really a test bed for us. And when we released 2.0 in January, by July, we had already had more than 500 signed up users. And so that's how marketing has worked for us. And for now, we are really working on 3.0. So we don't want to do too much of marketing right now, because then we won't be able to serve since the deliverers are not all around Nairobi.
Something I've noted is you're probably one of the very few people I've had who's using psychology to help the user and not to destroy the user and not to destroy the user. So yeah, kudos for that. Wow. I
Thank you,
really
thank
pray
you,
and hope that more businesses emulate that. Yeah.
thank you, thank
Um,
you. Yeah.
so someone else talked about funding, which I think you mentioned that that's where you're at in your journey. So I guess right now maybe what you can provide is, if you have any tips, what would those be, like tips for getting funding, or even I don't know, like initiating that process to the point of banking a deal or something. Have you like done your research? Do you have any tips that you're going to employ on your funding process?
Definitely, definitely. I have literally spent time. I've gone from, I've watched webinars, I've noted things down. Uh, and like again, it's really great when you think, but for funding, yeah, it's good to think, but the networks. I was talking to my co-founder, and there's this thing called direct trust and indirect trust. That's a term that I coined because of my dealing with people. For example, if you know me, right, and you tell your friend about me, that's, I call that trust, the trust that your friends will have in me. I call it direct trust. It's kind of not very intuitive, and the reason that is because your friend trusts you and you trust me, so we can just say it's transitive. But after that, that is an assumed trust. Like if I go to your friends and say, introduce me to your friends uh, for funding, or let's say in the pre-seed round where you are trying to get uh, family and friends to fund you, that's an indirect trust, and it mostly does not work. So that's just the first thing. You don't go more than one level. So if you have friends and I want you to introduce me to your network, that's where I will stop until I build real relationships with the investors. And something that I have also learned, and in fact that I'm currently working on right now, it's like for the funding thing, I can't just start getting money. I need to do some background work. For example, when I meet people, I mostly don't talk about that I'm a founder, I'll need money. It's like you are trying to sell, and then you, like no one wants you to take their money. Like you are trying to put your hand in this person's pocket. No one wants that. So I try to establish a genuine relationship and tell you how I can be of help. Because once I can establish that, and we become friends and I have value to offer, it becomes easier for you to already build trust in me. And then your group of friends is my direct trust. I will call it. And so that's the main thing I am doing right now. Why putting a lot of effort into Carata 3.0, because I'm the lead engineer. So I tend to do the infrastructure. I've written code that was prototyping production. So I know exactly what can happen if you don't engineer this kind of code. It can become a time-taking bomb. And yeah, so that's basically just two techniques. You don't go further than one level when you are looking for network. And when you get to people, it's about sales. Sales is not trying to get your money. It's really, I'm trying to give you value, but I don't want you to get it free of charge. You have to pay for it. And the third one is I want to attend a lot of events this year. In fact, I called my year the year of the sun, because I'm going to be out there in the sun, and the sun and I, we are going to be friends. It's like this one I know, this one, this particular one I know him. Yeah, so I really want to attend events and build my network, because no one really tend to know how good you are. Like, we are Christian, you don't have. I'm a Christian. I don't have the Holy Spirit whispering in people's ears, like, Levi, that it's a good brother. I have to literally tell it to them, and so I want to get out there and you know create networks. But again, making the network, you walk up to someone, the whole goal is not really to get them to invest, is to establish a genuine relationship and tell them that you have value to offer. And that's what I'm going to apply. In fact, that's what I have been applying, and I have a solid list of people that I'm going to ask. I already have my strategy plans. And once that happens, where you have established this relationship, then when you talk about money, the goal is not to get the money. The goal is to get a second meeting. That's what I would say. If you can get a second meeting, now you are doing well. So those are the things that I've learned, and those are the things I've been applying, and so far they are going well. They're going well. Yeah.
Okay. So I think the points I have taken from that would be, as you've said, like leverage on people that know you, because I guess even as you talk about selling value and also like creating a good rapport with them, it's easier just because they know you directly. Um, yeah, and now selling value instead of selling, I mean, like you have to show someone where that money is going, because
True.
most
True.
people who have money are quite, you
Yeah.
know,
And
you
mind you,
know,
they only have one chance to invest. Most likely, they will only invest like 5 times. So
yeah,
if
they're
you meet
very,
someone who
very
is really
dependent.
selfish with their money, don't be mad that they don't want to
Yeah,
give you the money. Just know they have like five
yeah,
chances, and they don't want to waste it.
yeah. Um, a fun fact, there was a post that I saw on the former CEO of the former founder of Loom,
Mhm.
called Vinay. And I think on his website you can go check it. I'm not so sure the anyway, if I see the URL, I'll probably share.
Okay.
It's like his personal website. Um, and there, I think he mentions that he's actually willing to invest in people's businesses so long as you can vibe with him. So for him, it's all about the vibe. If you guys click, then he'll probably invest. So I guess you can you can shoot your shot and see. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So wow,
Thank
more
you. I'm going to do
questions.
that. I'm going to please.
Okay.
I will ask you for that link, and I'll also
Yeah,
look for
I'll
you.
definitely send it, and I'll make sure you do it.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so there's another question. I think this one is more like it's specific to the product. I see people posting food items on the app. Is it that you order and they bring it to you?
Oh yeah. Now that thing you're saying is what we call the infinite inventory. So we it's like user generated items and business generated. So if you don't see the item on the app, you just type it. And it's a product now that other people can order. So there are people who type food, and this gives people an insane flexibility. Um, and some kind of rich data set for us later on in the future. We will have to introduce proper structure, which of course we already have another model for that. But currently, this you are saying is because of the fact that users can also create products themselves in case the product is not already on the app. And yeah, from food to even errands, literally, the people run tasks on the app, from printing your exam card, or you leave your ID at home. I mean, actually, what was even exciting to me is, when you make a product, you don't really know how users are going to use it until one day you're just looking through the product and you just see something out of the blue. You're like, oh, this is possible. I didn't know. It's like when you make a game studio. You don't know the game people will make. People just make, all kind of cool things like plugins and all these particle stuff. And you, the original developer, don't really know what could turn out from that. And literally, that's how Carata has been. Like, people have personalized this thing, and we are only hoping to make it as better and better, and the best as it can be. Yeah, that's that would be
Okay.
my response to that question.
Okay. I'm actually curious, still on this. Now that like someone can post something that's not on the app,
Mhm.
how if someone does that, like how do you know which vendor, or rather, how does the system connect this user who's requiring something that's not on the platform with a
Mhm.
vendor that's actually selling this particular item? Because I mean, in the beginning, the case was there was no product listed, so that means there is no vendor that said that they're selling this, or they're providing this product. So how does the system go ahead to like find a vendor who's selling that particular thing? Or even for the tasks, I think that one is even more interesting. Like, how do you get someone who's willing to offer that particular service? Because I can imagine there are people who are probably have like specific services they can offer. So yeah, how does the system go about like finding, or rather just connecting a user need that wasn't available in the system before with the vendors or providers of service?
All right. That is precisely where we have our edge delivery. We call it edge delivery technology, where the whole goal is we want to deliver the item to you for the lowest possible cost and the smallest possible delivery effort that is directly proportional to the opportunity cost. So, I mean, how much it would have cost you to walk out your house and go buy that thing over there? Like, we don't want the delivery price to be more than that. Um, and we don't want the deliverer to put in way more effort than he would have, uh, or than he should have. And so we spent a long time from I can't give you the specifics because this one is Carata's proprietary technology, and that's why we think that we can give it to other delivery companies, and we don't have to be there because we have tested it and it has worked. Um, we know how to find the product. Okay, we can link a vendor to a product uh, behind the scenes, or the system can direct the deliverer. So we have something like how accurate will we be? Like, we have these probabilities that we compute that you'll most likely find the product here, and we show you the map and we show you the optimal route to get there. If not, you will most likely find it here. And when you find it there, now the system, like, it's like this: the more data we get, the more accurate the system becomes. Just think about it that way. Like, the more people place orders and deliverers purchase, the accurate we become. And the system has its own way of self-check. Self-check is like, let's say there was a shop here and we knew that someone was selling there. These fast-moving consumer goods, these people just close the shop and they move somewhere else. So it's like eventually consistent. So eventually the system will figure out that that shop is no longer there. And so we won't be telling deliverers to go there, there's a shop there. Uh, just take it as a black box and just know that it works.
It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay. I respect the fact that that's also like part of your selling point. So anyway, yeah,
exactly,
I think
exactly. We
we
just give the algorithm just like that. Yeah, you know,
yeah,
it has
okay.
taken us 2 whole years to get that algorithm. Imagine. Then I just
Okay. We'll believe in your black box. Um, so I think this is more of like a comment. Someone said that they're currently reading Fall in Love with the Problem, Not the Solution. It's an interesting read for budding entrepreneurs. So if you've not read it, I guess you can add it to your books for this year if you're a reader. If
the
not, you
thing
can
is,
find a podcast.
I don't read a lot of books. I read very few books. In fact, I read very slowly because I don't like to accumulate that much. Like learning for me is different from knowing. You know, learning is way expensive than knowing. So I can read things to learn to know, but when it comes to learning, I tend to take very long time because I want to read it and apply it so that I can be like I can master it. And what this person is saying, I think that has been our motto at Carata. That's the reason why we have transitioned from 0 up to 2, and we are going to 3. Because always I tell my team, we are committed to the problem. The solution will change. Different tools will arise, different technologies will come up, but we are committed to providing the best solution for the problem. And so that has been what that has kept us innovating over time and literally testing new hypotheses in the app and coming to conclusions because we are in love with the problem, as you say. Like literally, that's very true. You fall in love with the problem, you have a million solutions, and one of them will be the most optimal. As compared to being tied to the solution. Remember, I remember those times when we used to be in school and they say, do this thing, do a project. We will find the solution now and then we start looking for the problem. To, when it's not there, we create it. But yeah, for solving actual problems out here, being in love with the problem definitely is the way to go for entrepreneurs.
Cool, cool. Um, On to like the last two questions. Hopefully, we will not surpass the time limit that we have. So, what are your what are the tech tools that are always in your arsenal for enhanced productivity? Whether it's in now that you're taking up millions of roles at a go. So yeah, in your lead engineering role, in your accounting role, in your marketing role, yeah, what tools are the ones that you can vouch for productivity or just easing your work in general?
Okay. All right. Well, I would say number one, I start with Google Workspace. Uh, uh, I mean, obviously, definitely that's where we all gonna put our talk. But there's Microsoft. I'm not saying you should not use Microsoft. And at some point, we used to use Slack, but it was just too slow because we wanted to be fast, like real fast. And Slack tend to be for proper, at least like an established company that is because when people log out of Slack, they are like, okay, we've logged out of work. And this was a startup. You realize at some point in the night, the app just goes down. Uh, Something has happened, something broke. Or we figure out that there was this exception that we didn't look at. And so we have to fix. And so we paused Slack for a bit. And so now we just primarily use WhatsApp, but we'll go back to Slack later on once 3.0 is out and it's stable and you don't want people to be sleeping with work on their mind. And I use VS Code a lot. Well, I love VS Code. It really makes my work fast. Giving the all the extensions, uh, yeah, and the light mode and dark mode thing. I really value my eyes, and so this automatic light mode and automatic dark mode is really important. For me, it has, yeah, given me a lot of benefits. And there is GitHub. the GitHub workflow for testing and deploying and all of that. I actually like that part, uh, where you just do a code review, and once you've done the code review and you let the pipeline take care of everything else. I love that part. And just the repository, the whole way the code is organized. And we use ClickUp for projects and tracking milestones. It's quite easy, like very easy, and it has so many features that you can miss what you are looking for. So we use ClickUp. Um, is there any other tech tool that we use? Okay, Canva when it comes to marketing. Canva for design. We also make short videos there. Um, we don't have that much money, so we use, but it's still a good product. CapCut for if we are making short videos. Uh, and I would say fair enough. That is it. For accounting, we used to use Zoho Books, but we want to move to QuickBooks. Um, we do some work in Excel, mainly for things like, yeah, but it's still not like, I mean Google Sheet. And what else? Well, those are the tech tools that are part of our day-to-day work. Marketing, and we have some like very little financial systems just to record sales. I was shocked how many systems we have as like just a startup. There are just so many, from the admin side to the customer side. There's another ITD system that manages other systems, and then from finance system. It's just so much. I'm like, wait, we have not even taken around. We've not gone around Nairobi yet, and then we have all these different systems. Um, but yeah, so I mean, those are the tools that I will list. Those are the tools that are part of our work, in addition to our own internal systems that we use that make us to deliver, I'll say, on the customer's value, the customers, on our promises to the customer.
Okay. Um, yeah, on to the last question. What's the one piece of advice you'd like to leave the audience with, whether it's Karata based, entrepreneur based, tech based, self based? Maybe someone is into, or even empowering the boy child. Times are rough. Yeah.
Okay, well, I will say with when it comes to entrepreneurship, don't die. That's all. And you should have something that is pushing you more than money. If money is the one that is pushing you, there was this time I almost quit Carata. Like I was in the valley of despair. There's the valley, we call it the change, the emotion EOC, CEOC or something, like a curve of emotional change or something. So there is an ignorant optimism. You have an idea, and you are just optimistic it's going to work. And then after you implement the idea, you have an informed pessimism. So you know why it won't work. So now at that place, that's where things start to go downhill until you reach the valley of despair. Now, for the valley of despair, you need something that is an end in itself, that is more than just a means. Money is a means. You can get money any other way. You can go work at a big company, they'll pay you a lot of money. So if money is the thing, I can guarantee you won't leave that valley of despair. And so when I was in the valley of despair, one thing that actually made me to not give up, I had told my team that tomorrow in our general meeting, I'm going to turn over my CEO role and just be in the background as one of the founders, and you guys can run with the idea. And I had the idea at the time. The character wasn't fully developed as it is. I had 2.0 in mind, but I had not written the code. Uh, and the next morning, only for them to come, and I'm like, you know what, guys, we can make this thing work. And then we all got on fire to work on 2.0. But what made me not to give up, that I remember it was like midnight. I woke up, like I just woke up like this. And I was just lying down thinking. Now there's one deliverer we have, and he told me where he used to work, how he used to, go to construction sites to get job. It's like a random day thing. You never know where you get job. And coming to Carata where we are paying him fixed salary. It's not like you we pay you based on commission. And how proud he is when he gets paid and he can tell his mom that he's gonna send us some money. I mean, like there is a whole dignity that came with it. That's the thing that kept me going. I'm like, this is not for me. I have like you will know that entrepreneurs are quite few. We are like 14 out of 100 people. Like very attracted to risk. If I start gambling, I can literally gamble 1 million. I can tell you, literally, we are attracted to risk. And there's all of these abilities that I have. Um, I was in school, second year, graduated with a first class honors, but yet have a startup on the other side, did a lot of projects. I even went to the point of writing my own framework and all of that. But doing all of that, all of those things, and still getting the best out of them, it's not a trait that everyone has. And so I told myself, if I would leave from here and just go get a job, that would be quite selfish because if God has given me this gift, this is not something that I'm just going to take and go sit somewhere. There's problem I can solve, and even being a kid, I used to spend more time trying to solve my mom's problem. Like, how can I make her work? How can I make her work efficiently? So I will be making small machines. And I said I wanted to become a mechanical engineer because I could understand machines without even being told how they work. But then I came to do software engineering, which was the best thing. But the point is that um, just thinking about this guy, and I mean, how many people in Kenya or in Africa that Carata could provide jobs for? Like, I think about those businesses that rely on Carata. They come every morning knowing that if no customer comes, the deliverers from Carata will come to buy. That one they are very sure of. And it's like one way or the other, we are going to be a big part of the economy. Like millions of children will be able to go to school. A lot of these small businesses will survive. And you have a lot of people who didn't go to university who will be able to get a job and be able to sustain themselves. So that was what got me out of the valley of despair. Like that's why I woke up energetic. I'm like, you know what, we can make this thing work. So that would just be my take. As an entrepreneur, don't die, don't give up. Don't die. That's the thing. Just don't die. Every day, just live for the next day. And the next thing, have something more than money that actually pushes you to solve the problem. Yeah.
Those are amazing, insightful words. You actually mentioned, I'm sorry, I'll take you back just a bit. You just reminded me that you were working on a UI framework, a front-end framework. Do you still use it in Carata?
Yeah, Carata 2.0 front end is built with that framework. I'm just
Cool.
perfecting it and making a documentation and making it open source. It's already open source, but for more people to work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called OpenScript.js. The whole Carata UI is actually OpenScript.js. It's not.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
actually just post it right now to the chat for everyone to see. I think it's really cool. And I
Thank
remember
you.
you worked on this right after campus. It
Yeah,
really,
I started from June 2023. Imagine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's what makes you Levi, I guess.
Well, I am flattered. Thank
Anyway,
you.
this was an amazing session. Yeah, I enjoyed every bit of it. I've actually learned a lot about Karata. As you said, you can't get the idea of what the product is from the name. So you just have to either experience it by using it or hear it from the owner, which
True, true.
we
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got the privilege to hear it from you. Yeah, I think you've really shared amazing things. You can find Levi on GitHub,
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if you have any other handles, but you can also, I guess, you can post them on the LinkedIn event, and
Mhm.
then people can get it from there, whoever wants to. Yeah,
All right, all
it
right.
was
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insights. for sharing your experience. Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you, everyone who got to join us. Actually, just a few seconds, okay, a bit like a minute past time. Yeah, thank you so much for being with us today. This was the second episode of DevStories. Watch out for more. I think the next one will be on a deep dive episode, which will be very interesting because it will still be in operating systems, but not now in e-commerce, but the operating system. So watch out for that. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, and have a good night.
Bye.